Some people might think I'm an emotional person, but I think maybe you've just given me a gift to be able to appreciate the real things. And God, I pray that we would just be able to be children again who appreciate the real things. That we wouldn't lose that childlike wonderment. Thank you, Jesus, for being our answer. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for being the power and counselor. Thank you, Father, for putting this all into motion. Let's just sing that again. We have found our hope. We have found our peace. We have found our rest in the one who loves. He will light the way. He will lead us home as we offer all to the one who saves us all.
Thanks, have a seat. Welcome, Vinny. How are we doing tonight? Well, I'm obviously not Pastor Phil. And I saw a couple of them in the back. You guys did a lot. Did he get taller? Did he grow some hair? No, it's fine. I'm Cody Hope. I am one of the, I'm the intern now. It's kind of weird to say that. So I started as an intern this May. I started as one of the youth interns. And there were four of us in the intern program. And now I'm here. I'm still here. And so I'll be here till December. And so I am doing youth ministry. A little bit about myself. For those of you who don't know me, if we haven't met, right now I just want to say hi. How are we doing? And now we've met. We're good. Okay? So, a couple things about me. I am from Indiana. So for you mitten people out there, it's right here. There we go. That's where I'm from, Anderson, Indiana. And I go to school in Huntington University, and I'm a youth ministry major. I'm a senior there. And so after I'm done here, I'll go back for a semester to graduate, and then the scary stuff begins. And so tonight, I'm really excited because Pastor Phil asked me to talk tonight to be one of the people speaking on Fresh. And have you guys liked this series? Yeah, I have really enjoyed it. But here's what I realized. That when I was excited about it, but I don't know much about it. So I asked him what kind of the buzzword was. And then when he told me the buzzword, I was really calmed down. Because I think the buzzword tonight, the kind of the extra thing tonight, is something I've been prepared for. Forever. For my entire life. I am so excited because I've been excited my entire life to preach on Fresh Hope. Because, in case you missed it, my name is Cody Hope. And so, in fact, hope has been something that has followed me around my entire life. It's pretty much on every legal document I own. And so, it has followed me around. And so, I know a lot about hope. I would like to say I'm kind of an expert when it comes to, at least the word hope. But I don't know much about the word fresh because, as I said, I am in youth ministry. And a lot of time, I spend my time with these guys. These are the junior high guys. This is one of my small groups for the summer. And these are awesome guys. They are wonderful. If these are some of your kids, they are awesome. But let me tell you that fresh is not a word I would use to describe them. That if you have spent much time around anyone in junior high, they smell. Right? And they're not fresh. And so here's what I thought we'd start with tonight. That I need to get on this fresh page. And so maybe you guys need a little review about what fresh is. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a picture up on the screen. And you just yell out if it's fresh or not fresh. Okay? Simple enough? Let's do the first one. Fresh. Okay, good. I like it. Fresh. Flowers. Okay, we're good. Doing well? Not fresh. Not fresh. Okay. How many people have people in their house that do that? They leave their socks on the carpet. I am a notorious sock person. I just leave my socks everywhere. But yeah, not fresh. Stinky, gross. Okay, next one. Fresh. Okay, yeah. The Fresh Prince. Very fresh. Will Smith, good. Not fresh, because guess what that is? That's stalemate. So That is actually absolutely not fresh. It is stalemate. Okay? Next one.
Fresh.
Fresh. A flowing river. I like it. Nice and fresh. Okay, next one.
Fresh.
No, that's an ocean. Oceans have salt water in them, making them not fresh. So, you got no worry. Okay. But I think you can get the next one, okay?
Not fresh.
Not fresh. Okay, we agreement that this is not fresh. That this is a desert. And what we know about deserts is they're not typically places that we would describe as fresh. In fact, they are one of the farthest things away from fresh. They are places of extreme heat and extreme temperatures and very harsh conditions. They are places associated more frequently with death than life. That we hear all these stories and we hear of all these times of people being trapped in the desert and people having to survive on the bare necessities. In fact, I realized as I was thinking about deserts that all that I know about deserts have pretty much come from the show Man vs. Wild. Anyone ever watched Man vs. Wild? Anyone ever seen it before? Okay, we got a few people. This is Bear Grylls, who not only has the manliest name in the English language, Bear Grylls. Can you think of a more manly name than that? That he recently, you may have seen in the news, he went with President Obama as they hiked Alaska and did a wilderness trail there. But he is this former military and is a survivalist. That's kind of his new job, is that he teaches people how to survive in extreme climates. And a lot of the most entertaining shows that he's done have been in the deserts. And he's, how do I put this? He's one of those guys who will do whatever it takes to survive. So, for example, if there's no water and it's hot, he's getting dehydrated, but he's still, releasing some liquids. He may reuse those liquids if you catch my drift. But he's one of those guys that will do whatever it takes to survive in harsh conditions. And he'll tell you that deserts are some of the most extreme and dangerous places. And so tonight, as we talk about deserts, I want you to know that most of us won't go through physical deserts. That I'm guessing the mass majority of us aren't going to go hiking the Mojave Desert. That my guess would be that we all are, though, going to experience spiritual deserts. That if you haven't yet, you probably will. And what I'm talking about when I talk about spiritual desert is I'm talking about a place where you feel far and distant from God. Where you feel spiritually dry. Where you feel that everything is hard and life is unbearable sometimes when you're in the deserts. And I would say that we all experience deserts, and here are some truths that I have found to be true about deserts. And they'll be in your notes here. The first one is this, is that we don't take day trips to the desert. We don't just take little trips to our spiritual desert. We don't wake up in the morning and we're having a good day and then, we go to work and then that's a spiritual desert. And then we get home and things are great. No, for us, spiritual deserts, we live in them. They encompass everything. And anyone who's really been in a spiritual desert will tell you that their entire life is kind of encompassed around that moment. That they can kind of remember everything by what was going on. Okay, the next truth is that no one to stay in the desert. No one enjoys being in spiritual deserts. At least I haven't met them. I haven't met the person who enjoys being in spiritual deserts. That we want out. We want to get out of the spiritual deserts. And what we're looking for is hope. And I found two definitions for hope that I think are really helpful. The first one is the surname of a very intelligent, handsome, humorous, and just all-around great intern. Now, I don't think that's a great definition, but for tonight, we're going to put that aside. We're going to go to the second one here. The second definition I found is that the feeling that what is wanted can be had. The hope is that I want something, and to have hope means that I feel that I can get it. That I can get whatever it is, whatever I want. And so, the idea of having hope in the deserts is that you want to get out. That having hope in the deserts means that one day there won't be a desert anymore. That one day I will be able to escape from whatever's going on. That I know this is just now because my hope is I can get out. And tonight, can I tell you that the world knows this? The world, everything around this culture agrees that they don't want to be in deserts either. No one wants to be in deserts. And the world will try to sell you hope. Have you experienced that? That the world will try to sell you, brand you, give you some sort of hope through either products or something. Did you know that the self-help industry is a $10 billion industry? That people every year spend millions of dollars pouring in and getting self-help books, because that's how they think they're going to get out of their desert. And can I tell you tonight that deserts, that hope is not bought, it's found. You can't buy hope. You can't buy a way out. That the way that you find hope, the way you get hope is you have to find it. And so tonight, let's go on a journey. Let's go find some hope. Let's find fresh hope tonight. Who wants to find fresh hope?
Yeah.
Good. All right. So let's go ahead and open up our Bibles to Matthew chapter 4. Okay? And as you're opening up, I'm sure that you have probably read this before, and you've probably heard this story before. It is about Jesus in the desert. And but here's why I think this is great for us. Here's why I think it's awesome to go over this, is that we need to know that Jesus went through deserts. That sometimes we forget that Jesus was a human. We forget that he walked through daily life like we do. And so I think it's helpful tonight that we look at Jesus in the deserts. And here's another reason why I think this is great, why I think this is really good, is that it's really neat the placement and the timeline of when this passage is. So if you read right before, in chapter 3, Jesus is being baptized by John the Baptist. And God says, "This is my son whom I love and with whom I'm well pleased." He opens up the sky, and this is like the highlight of Jesus' life so far, that Jesus is proclaimed to be God's son. And then if you read right after this desert section, if you go on to that next part, it'll talk about Jesus starting his ministry, Jesus preaching, Jesus finding disciples. That we see that Jesus goes from this mountaintop experience where God is proclaiming him as his son, and then it goes to Jesus starting his ministry. And then in the middle here we have this desert. And I like to think of the desert as a transitional period, as kind of the middle to a greater story. And maybe tonight that's something to grab onto for you. Maybe tonight you just need to hear that your desert is a middle. That hopefully you won't die in the desert. That won't be your end. That your desert is leading you to a better ending. Okay? And so let's start in just the first verse here. And then Jesus was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. Wait. Hold up. It says that Jesus was led by the Spirit. Now that doesn't make sense to me. Now it would make sense if we would have said Jesus somehow, like, he just kind of wandered into the desert, like he was walking around and just found himself there. Or it would have made sense if Satan kind of tricked him or, dragged him into the desert. That would have made sense to me. But it says that the Spirit led him into the wilderness. Now, everything we know about deserts says that that's not how it works, because here's the world's perspective that we've got. The world's perspective says all deserts are places of punishment. That the only reason to be in deserts is punishment. That you did something to get there, or maybe you didn't do something, but nothing good can come out of a desert. That a lot of us have thought, man, there's nothing good that can come out of this. Have we ever said that phrase before? We ever find ourselves saying, there's nothing good? Because we believed that deserts are places of punishment. And we also try to avoid deserts at all costs. Anything that may even remotely look like a desert. And we live in a culture where this is kind of normal, where people avoid going to the doctor. You've heard this before, that men and women avoid checkups for all their health issues. And it's actually happened to my grandpa. He is like 72, but when he was 70, he went to the hospital for his first procedure. Crazy, right? It was a quadruple bypass. And so what's crazy about that is that all these years, he had avoided going to the doctor to get his heart checked up. And luckily, they were able to catch it in that moment when he went in and he said, I just have to go in and see somebody about this. But he had been avoiding that checkup. He had been avoiding because it felt like a desert. It felt like anything like that is scary. And so we as a culture say, no, avoid deserts. Stay out of deserts because they're bad. But I would like to challenge, this is what Jesus thought, that Jesus knew that deserts are places of opportunity. That sounds kind of weird. But think about it. It says that the Spirit led him. And unless the Spirit has a weird, sick sense of humor, he wouldn't have led him into the desert. And even then, if he would have, Jesus, being Jesus, probably would have said, well, I don't want to be here. There's nothing good going on here, and he would have left. But for some reason, Jesus stays in the desert. He doesn't stay there for a little bit. He stays there for 40 days, which I think is a really long time. That he stays there for 40 days. And there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason that he's there for 40 days. And I think this is what it is. I think that he knew that there was an opportunity there. That he knew why he was in the desert. That there was something about being in the desert that was going to grow him and perfect him into the person he needed to be for his ministry. I think he knew that there was an opportunity to be had in the desert. And here's what it is tonight, is that deserts aren't really punishments, that they're prerequisites. Let me say that again. Deserts aren't punishments. They're prerequisites. That the deserts aren't always bad places for us. That nothing good can come. That sometimes they're what's needed to get us to where we need to go. The step that we need to take for God to make us into who we need to be. And here's how I think about it. Here's how my mind works. As I think about the dentist. Who hates the dentist? Anyone honest? Wow, lots of us hate the dentist. Okay? I really don't like the dentist. I've had lots of dental procedures done. I just got my braces off. I had those on for like 4 years. It was not fun. But I just do not like the dentist. It's the smell, right? And it's the chairs that are real stiff, and they're always cold. But all these things with the dentist I don't like. And some of us, they avoid the dentist like they are deserts. They avoid the dentist because, nothing good's coming from the dentist. But we know, we're rational, we know that there's a reason we go to the dentist. But we know that there's good stuff that happens when we take care of our teeth. And that when we've got a pain, like a painful tooth, that we know there's a reason that we want to take care of it. There's an opportunity there. And so no matter how uncomfortable the dentist may be, no matter how pricey it may be, or all those things, that we know there's opportunity there. And that's what I want to challenge you tonight to think about deserts that way. Is there opportunity in the desert? And I think that's where we find our hope, is that there's opportunity in the desert. Okay, we're going to go on to the next verse here. We'll start at verse 2. After fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. And the tempter came to him and said, "If you are the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread." Jesus answered, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes out from the mouth of God." And here's what Satan's trying to do. He's saying, Jesus, come on, you're Jesus. You're hungry, just make it happen. Just turn those stones into bread. If you're hungry, fix it now, because you're hungry now. And this is the second world perspective, is the world's going to offer false hope that's immediate. They're going to offer hope in the now. That if you're waiting for any reason in the desert, it's no good. That the waiting doesn't make any sense. That if you can get out of the desert, get out of it now. Get the product that's going to get you out now. Get the person that's going to get you out now. Whatever it is, get out now. The fastest and easiest route. That we live in a culture that says, no. You just need to get out of the desert. Get out now. But here's what Jesus knew. Jesus knew that there is fresh hope to be found in the process. That there's something about going through a desert. That Jesus, yes, was Jesus. And he could have turned the rocks to bread. He could have turned it into a 5-course meal. He could have turned it whatever he wanted. But instead, he chose not to. Because here's what Jesus knew. Jesus knew he was going to go hungry again. Jesus knew that no matter what he turned it into, that he was going to get hungry again. And it wasn't worth breaking this fasting process. There was something about the process of fasting that was more valuable than the temporary need of hunger. That there was a growth process going on. And here's what I think this applies, is that when we find our false hope in the immediate, we can find a shortcut out of the desert. That for a temporary time, we can think we're taking a shortcut out of the desert, but you're going to wind back up in your desert again, and you're going to be exactly the way you were when you left. That shortcut turns into a detour, and you get right back there. That it's when you grow, it's when you go through the process that you become a better and stronger person, that you're wiser for the next desert, because you will face more deserts. That's the thing about deserts, but they will look differently if you look differently, and you will face them differently because of who you'll become. And so here's how this is where it really became truth for me, is at Brown City Camp. Who's a Brown City Camp person? You guys are weird. I'm sorry. Brown City Camp is weird. It's a weird place. I love it. It's great. I'm on board now. This is my first time at Brown City Camp. But it's a weird place because there is nothing there. And the only thing there are people and ice cream. Lots of ice cream. And lots of people. Right? And so I was a counselor in the dorms. And that was a really great experience because I got to meet lots of awesome students. And I got to hang out with students. And that was just great. It was just 12 days of just interaction. And what was awesome is I met a student, and he is that student that everyone loves. Think about that person that everyone is the nicest person. He is the funniest person. He is always caring and considerate. He is that student that you just wish you had 100 of. That you could just have a youth group of. That'd be a boring youth group, but it would be a great youth group, right? And so as I was getting to know this student, I was walking with him one day, and I just asked him a simple, kind of getting to know you question. I asked him how long his parents had been married. And that's when things kind of shifted. For the first time, I kind of saw a different side of him. He said, well, actually, my parents just got a divorce a year ago. And so I then spent the next hour and a half as we talked and we processed through what that meant. What did that look like for him? What did that look like for his parents? How did his spiritual life affect that? And as I'm having this conversation, the light bulb goes off in my head. That it's because of my deserts that I've walked through that I'm able to even have this conversation. That I'm even able to contribute. Because pretty much my entire life, my parents haven't been together. That I don't actually have really memories. I was 2 or 3 when they split up. I don't really have memories of them together. And so that's been a desert that I've had to walk through. And I've had journeys and I've had all kinds of things come up. But as I've walked through and I've gone through the process, I realize that I'm able to be in a position where I can give him advice. Where I can say, hey, I don't know the exact desert you're in, but I have a feeling what it's kind of like. And so know tonight that there is hope in the process, and I hope for you at some point in your life you'll get to pour into somebody. That you'll get to experience, you'll get to say, yeah, I've been there. And I've been through that desert. I hope that tonight that one day you'll experience that. Because there's hope there. Okay, we'll go back to the passage here. Matthew, starting at verse 5 here. Then the devil took him to the holy city and had him stand on the highest point of the temple. If you are the Son of God, he said, throw yourself down. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and they will lift you in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone. And Jesus answered him, it is also written, do not put the Lord your God to the test. And so, this is crazy, right? That Satan is saying, hey, Jesus, you want people to know that you're the Son of God? Well, do something crazy. He's literally saying, hey, go do an Evel Knievel stunt. Get on your motorcycle, go jump the Grand Canyon, and that's how people will follow you. Go temple diving. Go be spectacular. Because that's where the world offers hope. That's spectacular sometimes. That it's in the big things. That it's in the things that you've always wanted. That's what's going to take your desert away. That's what's going to get you out of the desert. And whether it is graduating high school, graduating college, finding the perfect job, finding the perfect spouse, or maybe it's having the perfect kids, whatever it is, they promise you that that's what's going to take your desert away. That's what's going to make it all better. That you're eventually going to get out of the desert that way. And can I tell you tonight that those are really great things. That all those things are really great, but here's what they are. They're oases. They are places that look really great, and they're a nice place of rest. That there are places, an oasis is kind of a place that has water in the desert, that it's a place that has some vegetation, some life there, and it's a great place to rest, and it's a great place to get nourishment. But can I tell you what the problem is with finding all of your hope in an oasis? Oases are still in deserts. That they're not outside of the desert, that they're still there. And honestly, an oasis doesn't sustain itself. That eventually that oasis will go dry. That eventually it will stop giving life. And if you're finding all of your hope there, if you're finding it all in the spectacular, in the big things, then eventually it'll run out. And that job that you thought was perfect and was going to be the best job ever, that job you'll start to hate it. And that spouse that you thought you could never be in love with anyone else, you'll start to loathe them. You'll start to resent them. Because eventually, if you're finding all your hope for all your dryness in oases, it'll dry out. But here's what Jesus knew. Jesus knew that fresh hope comes from the small things. It's from the little things. It's not from the big grand things. It's not from the oases. It's from the little, it's the rocks that have water, right? It's the cactuses. It's the things that don't seem like a big deal, but it's the things that keep you alive and keep you going in the desert. And here's kind of in my mind. So here's in my mind how this works. As I think about the Olympics. And who watches the Olympics? I have some Olympics watchers, okay? And so we all have kind of some of our favorite athletes. Here's the deal. Do you ever think about your athlete other than the Olympics? Probably not. Like, I mean, maybe every once in a while you might think that, but you don't typically think about that person continually. It's not someone across your mind. In fact, to you, they kind of only exist every 4 years, but can I tell you, it's kind of magical. They exist all year round. They exist all the time, and in fact, they're not always going to Olympics, though. They're training for Olympics. Every day they're putting their work in the gym or in the pool or whatever their sport is, that they're making lifestyle choices that maybe dramatically affect their family, the way they eat, the way they sleep, the time they spend in the gym. That every day they have to make small decisions, small daily choices to survive. That for them, victory is the Olympics, don't get me wrong. I mean, a gold medal for your country, being the best athlete in the world, that's special. That's a victory, but that's not where they have to find their hope, because that's a long time to wait for hope. It's a long time, 4 years is a long time to wait for hope. No, they find their hope in the small victories, in the daily workouts, in the trials that they have to go through. That's where they find their victory. And I think we can learn from that tonight. That just looking at Olympic athletes, we have to find our hope in the small things. And so whether tonight, if you are going through an illness, or you know someone going through an illness, you have to celebrate that good day. Whether it's a person who is always at odds with you and always wants to fight with you, it's those moments of kindness they show you, just those brief moments. That's what you've got to savor. That it's those moments, it's those daily victories that are going to keep us alive, going towards our way out of the desert. It's what remind us of getting out. And so we'll finish up the passage here. And so go ahead and finish it up at verse 8. Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. All this I will give to you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me. And Jesus said to him, away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only. And the devil left him, and the angels came and attended him. So Satan is offering control to Jesus. And this is the one that gets me the most, I think. This is the one that hits home for me. Is the world offers false hope through control. That what the world offers is hope that I get to decide what I do with. That I may not be able to get out of the desert on my own, but I am going to be able to decide how I live in the desert. That it's my decision. I can choose what I cope with. I can choose everything that I do. Because we ultimately say, hey, it doesn't matter if I get it, as long as I get to live on my terms, as long as my will, because a lot of times we're living this idea that my will is greater than his will. That what I want is more important, that I want to control. But here's the deal, here's what Jesus knew. Jesus knew there was a life better than control. Jesus knew that fresh hope comes from the consistency of the Father. That there is no other hope that is found other than the consistency of the Father. Jesus was in the desert for 40 days. How do you think he survived that long without food and water? How do you think he survived that long with the temptations of the devil tempting him the entire time? It was through the sustenance of the Father. If it wasn't for the Father's consistency, then Jesus was going to cave at some point. But it was the consistency of the Father. It was the presence of the Father. Can I tell you that that's the same for us tonight? That the Father is constantly with us. That he hasn't left us in the desert. It may feel like it. It may feel like we have been through things that God can't be in, that he can't be a part of it, that he hasn't left you. That, in fact, you couldn't survive if he wasn't there. That you couldn't survive the desert for one step if he wasn't there. That I like this phrase, and you've probably heard it before, but if he leads you to it, then he'll carry you through it. Right? And it's truth tonight, that if he gets you to the place, if he puts you in a place of opportunity like a desert, and it doesn't matter how bad it feels and how harsh it feels, that he tonight, that he'll carry you through it, that he's with you, he's consistent. We can find hope in that, because that's the hope that's not going to fade. That's the hope that we can stick with. And so tonight, let me ask you, Where are you finding your hope? Because a lot of us in this room would say we're in deserts of some sort, whether a small desert or a big desert, a life-changing desert or a desert that just makes us in a mood of misery, right? That some of us are only seeing negatives tonight. That we're only seeing negatives to our desert. That there's nothing good that can come out of this desert and it just needs to go away. And some of us are looking for hope in the immediate. That we're looking for a quick way out. Like, what's the book I can read? Is there a course I can take? Is there a check I need to just sign somewhere? That's how we're looking for hope. Or maybe some of us tonight are looking for hope in the spectacular. Maybe we're just waiting for that big thing. Just wait. To when we get the house will take care of everything. Or when I get the job, or when I get married, that'll take care of everything. Or maybe tonight we're just looking for hope in our own control. And the ability just to say, as long as I'm in charge. As long as I can live in the desert in my terms. And can I tell you tonight, that's going to be really tiring. It is tiring. I've been through it. It's tiring. And who's tired of that? So I'm tired of that. And I got to say that I think we're ready. Are we ready for fresh hope? So now what? What do? We got to find hope in the opportunity. It's the first thing. We got to look for hope in the places that we don't think is going to be there. We got to think of hope in the deserts. That there's got to be something good about the desert. We have to look for hope in the growth processes, that we're growing, as we're going through the deserts and through the trials, that we're becoming a better person, a stronger person, that Christ is making us more into who we need to be. We got to find hope in the small victories. We got to look for every ounce of victory we can get. That deserts can be so draining, but we've got to look for those things that are going to keep us going. And finally, we have to find hope in God's sustenance, in God's consistency, and His ability to provide for us. Because when we find hope there, it's when we find that fresh hope, that we truly, truly know that it'll get better. That we know that this desert, I don't know when it's going to end, but it will end. And I will get out, and I will be a person who is better for it. And I will be a person who God has crafted me to be, because I found my hope in the desert. So tonight, if you're ready for fresh hope, make that your prayer. So just say, God, I need this badly. That I have been looking for hope in all the places that I just, at the end of the day, they run out. At the end of the day, they just turn out just to be rabbit holes. But God, the places I've been looking for hope just aren't working. And God, I just need fresh hope tonight. And so we'll have some people up to the front that will pray for us tonight. We'll have our prayer team up. And so, and if you just need prayer tonight, just come. And maybe for you, though, it's a silent response. It's a personal response. And it's just, God, I need fresh hope. And so if you would stand and let's pray. God, you are the God of fresh hope. You are the God who is greater than any desert we can experience. You're the God who has created us in such a way that we grow even when we don't feel like we are. And tonight, can I just say, God, it is good to have you around constantly. That even in my time to try, even in the times where I don't acknowledge your existence, you're still there providing for me. That as we think about deserts, God, tonight, make it the cry on everyone's heart, each person's heart, that they want fresh hope tonight. That they want you. That they want to know that the desert will get better. That they just have to hold on, and they have to stay faithful. That it may not end tomorrow, but they are becoming more in your image through their deserts. So God, I just pray for them right now, and I pray for us as a community, that we can be a community that looks for fresh hope. So God, thank you for the provision you provide. We pray this all in your awesome name.